Okay, so this is why agencies don't work. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Darius. This is Craig. We're the owners of Saulna. On here, we talk about how to have more motion.
Okay. How to have more motion, yeah.
How to have more motion, all right? Because it's about having motion in your business, having fun, building a business you can actually scale and, create the lifestyle that you really want. That's what we're all doing, right? So we're just talking about the actual conversion mechanisms it takes to do that, okay? So why agencies, right? Okay, fucking suck, okay? Now, I'll be the first to tell you, all right? I scaled and burned 3 agencies myself.
Yep.
All right, so been in the playing field, right? Agencies fucking are awful, right? Because all they're gonna do, okay, is everything is just so cash heavy up front, right? Where they need money, they need a retainer, right? And they have to consistently get clients to survive.
Yep.
Okay. Now, when this agency closes a retainer deal, right, their brain goes over to fulfillment, right, which would be you, right, when you buy their services, right? Now, if this agency wants to go back to collecting cash, what do you think they're doing? They're fucking going right back over here to focus on collecting money so they can survive.
Yeah.
Right? So they're going to be neglecting you, okay? And not to mention, they probably have fucking 10 other yous in there that are getting neglected, and if their processes are at a really high level, them shits are genuinely just a fucking waste of money, waste of time, right? And I'll be the first to attest to it. Hands are up. Have burned some people in the agency space. Another reason why I got out of it, because it's not a scalable model, right? You're so in the hamster wheel of trying to do everything, helping your clients fulfill, fucking working for them, doing all the done for you stuff, and still trying to scale and build your own agency. It's not scalable, and it's not going to be scalable for you, okay? Now, what's the other option, okay? You got fucking operators.
Let me jump in here on the agency stuff real quick, because I do want to add something. I want you guys to understand, we come from a space, when we were coming up, agencies were huge. They were everything. When I met Darius, he had an agency. I was an operator. We'll get into that. But basically, I want you guys to understand that from being in the space and talking to a lot of agencies, there are agencies that produce good results, but the majority of agencies are okay and even look at it as if I make a $2,000 retainer one time, that's a win for me. That's a win for me. They're not looking at LTV. They're not looking at that. They want to bring an influx of leads in, and they want to close them, and they don't care how long they retain those clients for. This is just the kind of the mindset in this space. Also, this is a bad business model from both a business model perspective and also hiring them out perspective, right? Because like Darius said, you're running this hamster wheel between retainer and then fulfillment, right? Also, as an offer owner, I want you to ask yourself, if they could generate, actually no, this is wrong. That's wrong. This is for these people. I just keep rolling. I just keep rolling.
We're going to leave that in there because we're going to keep it just raw and real.
Yeah, we're going to leave it in there. Fuck me then. I guess it's fuck me. No, we'll get into that. But
get into it.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say, where my brain was at, is these people can't generate their own demand. That's why they're operators. I was an operator. I know that. I had to learn from scratch how to generate demand. That's why they have to, rely on other business owners to actually help them, leverage a personal brand and stuff to actually generate demand. If you can't generate demand without a personal brand and without organic, if you can generate demand, put it this way, if you can generate demand without a personal brand and only organic, you're the best marketers in the world. That's why you're looking at it, right? So, but yeah, no, let's dive into this a little deeper.
Right. So, cleared up why it's not going with agencies anymore. Okay? Operators. Okay? Now, everyone loves the whole, I'm looking for someone to come on performance, show me they can work, right? XYZ. Okay. Well, again, using the operator space, when we first jumped in together, we were operating for some clients, right, at a really high level. And the problem here, right, is again, okay, these operators, one, they don't even know how to generate demand. Okay. Right? They're relying on you to already have that. Okay. And then two, I'm not gonna lie, and this happens with some agencies too. Most of these operators are new at marketing.
Yeah.
Especially in the space right now.
Yeah.
Granted, again, like Craig said, there's good agencies that get fucking crazy results. We got some boys that still smack in the agency space. Dogs.
Yeah.
We know operators that are fucking top notch, right? But again, I would say majority of the operators that actually you're probably gonna be talking to are new, right? So you need to be wary of that, okay? But these operators, okay, they're all gonna be working on commission, right? On a percentage basis, right? Now, same thing as the agency space, right? Because at the end of the day, they're trying to eat, right? They're gonna want to take, 10 to 20%, usually, sometimes up to 25, okay, of your business, of whatever, they kind of put on the calendar and gets closed, all right? Seems fair, sure, right? Okay, now their whole objective here is to collect as fast as possible, right? That's what the operators are wired to kind of do, okay? Now, when your offer isn't collecting as fast as they want, they're just going to jump ship and go to the next person.
Yeah, there is no buy-in. This is the thing about operators, right? There is zero buy-in for them. It's just commission. So it's very easy to leave this offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not a whale client, if you're not doing over 100K a month and they're smacking their little 10K a month or their 20K a month off just your offer, they're going to try to stack other offers. And what operators lack that a decent agency shouldn't, is proper scaling systems. So at a certain point, your operator is going to become your constraint, because an operator is, at least from my perspective, a glorified setter, right? Sometimes they can close too if they have a good skill set. Like when we were doing it, I was setting, Darius was closing, right? But until we jumped ship and actually started selling our own offer, we didn't have proper scaling systems, so we would always be the constraint of a business no matter what. We could scale them pretty high, could scale them over 100K a month, but beyond that, when it's time to build out like real sales teams and real proper, SOPs and systems to lean upon, operators don't have it. It's brunt work. Even the good operators I know in the space, dogs, love them boys, taught me a lot about the space, but they're workhorses. They, they just grind their way through it, which is, you want that type of person on your team, but it will always be a constraint from a systems perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Because those operators, right, for them to scale, right, because again, they're in a space to eat as well. Do 10, 20, 30, 50K a month, right? And you need to either be doing a shitload of money, right, for that to make sense, or they need to be scaling more offers, which means they're going to start backfilling setters and other operators into your business in hopes that they can perform as well as they did, right? And like Craig was saying, becomes a constraint. You have zero buy-in. These people jump ship. It's because there's a commission basis. Like there's nothing tying them down, right?
Yeah.
As far as it goes.
Yeah, and if you're in a position where you're attracted to giving up 20, 25, 30% of your business in exchange for free labor, an operator that's decent will not stay on your offer. I promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not the people that, even like people like us want to work with. Operators don't want to work with it unless you get someone extremely green who's not going to help you at all anyway. Free labor in exchange for that much commission is a huge red flag. If you ever get on a sales call with us and offer us 20, 30% commission in exchange for our services, we're going to laugh at you. in all honesty, because that means your business is shit and you don't care about giving it up. If you're really making money, we have arguments over 2%. You know, so it's like, yeah, I just want them to keep note of that. And then I think we should also dive into the better option.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I think Craig's hit it on the head right there, because people do get on calls with us. Actually, we had like 2 or 3 last week. One vividly where he was like, dude, call your business partner on the call right now. Like, I'm gonna do like whatever it takes to get inside today, right? Like, I'm as well gonna give you guys like 30% like of the business. Like, you guys can have it. Like, I need this shit.
Yeah.
And we're like, no. No.
It doesn't even make sense, like from a numbers perspective. Like I said about operators, if they were so good at their processes, they'd sell their own shit, because they can generate demand. So when that guy said that, it makes 0 sense. Even if your ticket is 10K, if you're say you're selling a 10K ticket, and you're giving us 20%, that's 2,000. That's 1,000 each. And we're selling your offer, and we have to rely on you, who I just met, to fulfill clients. No idea about your back end, and and close makes 0 sense when you're talking about our ticket, which is, you know, closer to that 10K mark, and we're operating at 70% margins, and you know, like, it just makes no sense at all. And we're in full control of our business. We don't have to worry about him getting sick for a week, or, you know, his wife getting sick or some shit. Like, we run the ship, you know. So that's a huge benefit to what we do. So to dive into our model, right, I do want to preface, we are talking to people between that 5, hopefully 10 to around 30K mark, and we really specialize in getting them past that 100K a month mark. That's who we're talking to here, so I want you to keep that in mind. Because the people we're speaking to, they simply lack systems. A lot of the people that we target are very operator minded, right? They brunt work, because you can scale to 10K a month just brunt work, right? So, these people lack internal systems and SOPs to actually scale, right? They know from a foundational perspective how to generate demand, you know, through at least one proven acquisition channel. That's usually how you get to that 10K a month mark. But what we do is we install the proper systems and then also proper verticals to get them beyond that 100K a month mark.
Yeah, exactly. Again, agencies are going to be coming in and kind of like doing things for you, right? Like running the ads, XYZ, but the agency churns, or they're not getting results. Wasted time, money, nothing's there, right? You got nothing to show for it. Operators, same thing, right? If they get out of your DMs or they're not closing for you, like, they go ghost, right? And again, nothing to show for it, okay? Which is why we pivot to a whole different model that honestly I really don't hear anyone talking about, right? We want to give out the systems actually needed for you guys to scale, that we've learned across this market, right? From being on all sides of this spectrum, right? For you guys to be able to put in your own systems and build your own internal SOPs and internal systems, right? That you guys can have for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for the rest of your business, right? Here's everything foundationally you need to actually scale past 100K and make it sustainable and build this thing where you can actually have the freedom you want and you not be the bottleneck. We're not the bottleneck, right? And you actually have, like, again, something tangible and like physical systems that you can like lean on and rely on, because that's everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. It comes down to control of your business. When you're delegating to agencies that aren't bought in on your vision, they're bought in on their own vision, or operators that have no buy-in, you're not in control. You don't have autonomy. And a foundation is everything when it comes to this, because Your foundation is obviously what you need to scale on. That's all it is to from that 20 or 10 to 20 mark to past 100K a month, is having a strong foundation to really build upon. And what that means understanding the whole processes like the back of your hand, and having proper SOPs that you can lean on so you can then delegate out that work, right? That is the same constraint that the operators have, is they don't have systems that they can use to delegate. And the same thing these business owners have that are between that 5 to 20K a month mark.
Yeah, no, that's money. Well said. Well said. Because yeah, I mean, shoot, even down to the videos we're recording, right? Like being able to lean on proven systems, right? Around everything in your business, right? To the high performing setting processes, right? When a lead comes in and they say this, what happens? How do they get lead marked, right? Where does that get tracked, right? Like down to, literally down to all your operating procedures internally inside the business. So there's no more guesswork. There's no more guesswork. We're still like how stuff happens, right? How people are getting converted, whole 9 yards, right? That is everything, right? And again, we hold none of that back because we think everyone not only needs Saulna, right? But needs just internal processes so they genuinely can scale in this kind of new age marketing space that we live in, right? Because a lot of people are scaling their businesses online.
Yeah.
Understand they need, leads coming in and demand generated from online, right? Well, these people that are doing, $1 million months and more are leaning on systems, right? They have operating procedures and they run a tight ship, right? And so you need to be operating in the same realm. And that's exactly why we've positioned our business like this and give out those internal systems for you guys to be able to do that. Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. If you guys want access to the SOPs we use to scale our business and our clients use to scale their businesses, and you want help actually implementing those SOPs and creating your own for your business, book a call with us, subscribe to learn more, and we'll see you at the top.
Motion.